Hello, my name's Angie Lockhart, and I am doing the second in my series of vlogs about embracing change from this beautiful setting this morning. I'm back in my own home country. I'm in County Down, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea, and I literally am in at the Slieve Donard Hotel, where the Mourne Mountains actually do join the sea. And it's very fitting that I do this vlog. I'm talking today about separation and divorce and how to deal with that and how I dealt with that in my life and what my experience was. I don't want this to be a video that people look at and go, oh, there's blame there, she's trying to point the finger. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be uplifting, but I want you to see that life goes on, and I'm 8.5 years down the line and my life couldn't be better. I have embraced the change. And just to go back to the start, it's very fitting that I am here because County Down and this coastline is somewhere that I have very happy memories of, family memories. I was married a very long time. As I said in my first vlog, I was married 26 years. So I was married longer than I was single, really. I was married at 19 and married for 26 years. So I was really married. That was my experience. A long time. And it's unusual for longer marriages like that to break down. But just let me say that when a marriage does break down, there's unhappiness on both sides. And for us, we had a good marriage for the most part, but we weren't happy towards the end. So that's all I want to say about that. And for us, there was no going back, there was no reconciliation. So what do you do then if that's the case? You find yourself alone, you find yourself in a situation where it's foreign to you. There's grief and loss of all that you knew and held dear. And I remember one of the first weekends whenever I first was on my own and newly single, I was absolutely grief-stricken and devastated. And I remember thinking, where could I go that would be familiar and that would maybe help me, cheer me up? It was a Saturday, and the weekends for me were the longest because that's the time whenever you spent with your spouse doing things usually. And my children were all the stage where they were growing up, so I was very much at a loose end. You know, you have your friends, and my friends and family were fantastic, let me say that. My friends know who they are and my family are amazing, but they all have their lives, and you know, you need to get up and get on with your own life. And I remember getting in the car and driving for where I lived and thinking, where could I go? And this is where I came. It was actually around the coast in Annalong, beautiful little fishing village where we had had many family holidays and many happy times. And I thought, let me go somewhere where I can feel comfortable, where it would be happy. But what I did was I drove to the harbour, and it started to rain, and I sat and I looked out over the sea, and the devastation and the pain and the hurt that I felt was almost unbearable. You will recognise that and resonate with that if you've been through this too. And I remember driving back into Newcastle, which is here, and I went into a little cafe, which made it worse as well because it was full of couples out on their little Saturday jaunts. And I thought, that'll never be me again. I'll never do that again. The pain and the loss I felt was awful. But you know what I would say is, that's an appropriate sadness, that's an appropriate pain. When you've lost something that you held dear, that you've had for such a long time, it's okay to be sad. And you know, there's the 5 stages of grief, you've heard them all. And you know, it's like losing a partner to death whenever you divorce. I remember at the time, and I never forgot this, I had a friend and she had lost her husband a few years later. Forgive me if my eyes are streaming here. I'm really not going to cry. It's just that the sun is so bright. I have very watery eyes. But she had lost her husband tragically, and he was very young, and she came and she was expressing her, she was sad that I'd split up, and she couldn't believe after such a long time that we weren't together anymore. And she said to me, I feel so sorry for you, because she said, I know if my husband could be with me and he was here at all, he would want to be here, but he can't. He was taken away from me. He would do anything to be with me. But if I thought he was here and he didn't want to be with me, I would be absolutely devastated. I think it's worse for you. And I was absolutely blown away by that. I thought, how can she say that? She's just buried her husband a few years ago. But that's how she's seen it, and that's quite often the way it is. The loss, the rejection, whatever you like to call it, it is a very real grief. And there's the 5 stages. There's the denial, it's not happening to me, this couldn't be happening after all this time. There's you go into like a bargaining phase, you go into an anger phase, you go into a depression, and then you finally accept. And each of those phases takes as long as it takes. Everybody's different, and there's no set time scale for people. Some people will go through those phases quicker than others, and there's no right or wrong answer. But for me, I was the kind of person who actually loved relationships. I love relationships with other people. I'm a social person. I love to chat. I love to be in other people's company. So for me, that loss felt absolutely devastating. And even though I had 4 grown-up children who were great, and my family, you lose that intimacy. So I threw myself into lots of things, and this is what I would say. For some people, writing a journal is a good exercise. Some people it's not. They don't want to dwell on things. But for me, I wrote everything down, and I journaled every day. And I didn't really read back over it much. It was just more therapeutic actually doing it. And when I look back on it recently there, I can't believe where I was and where I am now. Time is a great healer, and life offers you opportunities. And I went through all of those stages, and even when I moved to Edinburgh, I was still going through some of those stages. And I'll talk more about my move in a future video. But what I would say to you is, embrace that change. I have been given opportunities through my separation and divorce I would never have had. I had a chance to restart all over again, and not as a 19-year-old girl, as a grown woman who knew exactly what she wanted and what she was looking for in life. And I had a chance to embrace a brand new career. You'll be thrown lifelines. You just need to be aware of them and look out for them. A year into my separation, and if anyone's from Northern Ireland, they'll know it's such a small place. I was constantly bumping into people who didn't realise I was split up. I was constantly bumping into people who wanted to know, what happened? And it's just opening the wound every time. And basically, I was thrown a lifeline. I was offered a job in Edinburgh, a job I'd never really done before. But someone was willing to take a chance on me and seen potential and said, no, I'll give you this job. I had a daughter living in Edinburgh at the time. And I spoke to the family. They all thought, no, Mum, just do it, go. I thought I would go for a short time. It would get me away. And this is the other thing too. Sometimes distance is good. Sometimes getting away. And for me, just putting that wee bit of space, even though it was a wrench leaving my family, my friends, my support network, I felt for me I needed to do it. And so I took that lifeline. I embraced that change. If I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be standing here today with this smile, because I have met my soulmate. I have met the guy that I'm married to. We got engaged 4 years ago yesterday, April Fool's Day, and married 8 weeks after that. So we're married almost 4 years. And I'm almost 9 years down the road from my separation and subsequent divorce. But if you're going through that now, or if you've been through that, you'll resonate with everything I'm saying. You know, life, as I said in my first video, presents challenges, and it is messy. And I never thought in all those years I was married, raising my family, I would be a divorcee. But things happen, and that's the way it is. But you need to just pick yourself up, dust yourself down and say, right, what opportunities are here for me? You could curl up and you could say, that's it, life's over, I'm never going to meet anybody again. But you can't do that. Life is so exciting. There's so many things on offer for you. You just need to go out there and see the potential of it all. You just need to grab it with both hands. And I did that, and I went to Edinburgh to take up this new role. And as I say in future videos, I will tell you then how the rest of my life developed and how amazing it is to be standing here. I wouldn't be doing these vlogs. I wouldn't be in this position. I'm here this weekend on a beautiful spa night away, a present from my eldest daughter for Mother's Day with my two sisters. She organised it all without me knowing, and it's just been fantastic. I've had so much quality time with my family even since I've moved away. That sounds funny because I don't see them as much, but when I do see them I spend lots of quality time, and my dad as well. So I'll just leave you with that thought. If life is throwing you a lifeline, take it, grab it with both hands, because you don't know the opportunities that await you until you take that chance. So if you like my videos and you like what I'm saying and you can resonate with what I'm saying, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook at What's Your Passion, and come with me on the journey. But I'll leave you now from beautiful County Down outside the Slieve Donard Hotel, and it's bye for now.